Hello, everybody, and welcome to, I don't know really what to call this, a retrospective, a look at myself, or whatever, but this is something I've kind of wanted to make for a long time, or, well, not a long time, but for a little while now, and this isn't really scripted, so we're just going to kind of wing it here, and I want to do it that way because to me it feels a little more genuine rather than thinking about it and putting it on paper. I guess that's genuine too, but this is just how I do things, kind of improv-ish. I don't know if I'll go the full length of the video or it's going to be shorter, but whatever. Kind of wanted to talk about how long and far I've come since I've started this channel and all the fun memories we've had since I've made these videos since like fucking 2013, was it? I can't remember when the first LP honestly was created, but I remember back in the day with Zero Mission being my first talkative LP. I was so excited, and GW Fan was giving me advice. I was watching his My Little Pony RPG is My Little Pony RPG 1. I'm gonna move that closer to my face, but yeah, I was watching that, and then I was getting advice from him using Hypercam, but the problem with that is I'm surprised no one pointed it out back then and even liked the videos that the videos were actually moving much faster than my commentary, so they quickly became out of sync. And I can't believe in my replay of that game, I honestly thought that what I was doing was fine. It's a good LP still. Oh man. There's like a lot of stuff I don't think you guys have noticed since I've done those LPs, and I watch a lot of my stuff because I like to relive some of those memories we had and read the comments that were posted from the few people that used to comment aside from GW Fan, obviously. Like in my Blaster Master Let's Play, I've watched that before a few times. No one ever noticed this until like years later when I finally noticed it. One of the P items that give you health, no, they normally only give one unless you get a flashing one, a flashing P, which gives you like 4 or 5 health points. I can't remember the exact details, but I ended up grabbing a regular one and it gave two, which was really strange. And speaking of things people didn't notice, here's a really funny one that caught me off guard last night or whatever. I was watching me and Squishies, or Happy Mask Salesman as you know him, our Let's Play of Super Pony All Stars, the first Super Mario Brothers, and when we got to the end of the game, I'm surprised no one caught this, but I finally did 5 years later. When I asked my brother his thoughts on the game, he said the game is great, but the 8 worlds are shit, which is completely contradictory to what he just said. How is the game great if the game you just played was essentially shit? I died laughing. I was laughing so hard that I got a headache, of all things. It didn't last long, but I had a small headache for a little bit. I laughed that hard. It was just that funny. I don't know if you guys will go back and watch some of my older stuff, but if you do, that'd be great. Maybe you can share some things you've noticed that I've never caught before. Honestly, hearing some of the dumb shit I've said has made me laugh pretty hard before, and some of the mistakes I've made, like in Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, when I return to Rupture Farms, and when I get to the second floor again, back to the, well, more like the first floor, because you're on the first floor, then you go down, and then you're on the basement floor, which leads to the stockyards, I guess. But when I head back up, I completely didn't know that the slog chases you, and when he happened, I fucking screamed like a child. I freaked out. That was genuine, by the way. That wasn't fake. None of the shit I do is scripted, which I feel like makes it all the more genuine because now you're getting more live reactions out of me, which is kind of foreshadowing what I'll be doing here in the future in terms of Let's Plays. At least a Let's Play, hopefully, but yeah, I would love to hear what you guys have seen if you rewatch my stuff. If there's anything you've caught that I have never noticed before. I've had some good memories. I've seen some dumb shit too as I've gone by. Like You heard the car story where the orange car just suddenly started backing up in front of this other car and just for no reason it just started honking at him, and right before he hit the car he finally stopped. Or like last night my mom and well my brother and Steve went to the store to get groceries and they were instructed to get certain things, and here's what I can't wrap my head around. They got food for the next night, but not the night you were getting food. What? I, I I've seen people walk by a cross stop and then they'll start crossing the street away from the safety of a crosswalk. It baffles my mind at some of the dumb shit people do. It's so bad, it makes me just unable to wrap my head around it, but it's hilarious at the same time. And I know I could share this stuff in Let's Plays, but I don't know. I like to share these kinds of stories with you guys and non-LP moments like this or videos. Cause sure, it's fun to share in a Let's Play, but I usually forget about that stuff when I'm Let's Playing. It's like thoughts that don't cross my mind when I'm doing Let's Plays. Usually I think these kinds of things when I'm just bike riding home and I have a moment to myself and there's no screaming kids, there's no screaming adults, there's just none of that noise. There's just peace, quiet, and the world around me. It gives me time to really think. And I kind of do that at home, but not as much. Uh, I don't know. There's something I agree with Scout the Furret concerning my Let's Plays that I did used to whine a lot, and if I could take back any one thing that I used to do in my older Let's Plays was the whining I used to do. Now, it did come from a genuine place of heart or whatever that I really wanted you guys just to comment. Not on everything, but occasionally, you know? Because in my Metroid Prime 1 and 2 LPs, that was honestly made it so much better when I had Dream Cloud and Scout the Fur always saying something. It made it feel so much more interactive. It was fun to hear what you guys had to say. Like how I tell stories or something or whatever. It's fun to hear what you guys think or say about something. Or maybe notice I'm stupid and I missed something. Excuse me. Yeah, what a lovely thing to have. Nothing like an unscripted video. I've also had thoughts about redoing those videos, but at the same time, I don't think I could ever recapture the magic that was those older Let's Plays, and I just wouldn't be the same. Sure, I'm pretty sure they would have their really funny moments, but it just wouldn't be the same as those older LPs, to be honest. Like when me and Squishy did Super Mario Bros. 2, I don't think we will ever recapture that retardedness ever again. It's like those once in a lifetime moments. Sure, we could have some stupid moments if we did it again, but I don't think that'd be as good. It just wouldn't be the same. Uh, I can't believe it's been so long. I've come a long ways, it feels like, ever since I used to live with my dad, too. Back in the day when it was so much more carefree, like, you don't really realize what you have until it's gone, and you don't really learn that lesson until you start growing up, which is insane, you know? I may seem like I'm super childish and all this nonsense, but you know, when I'm not acting like that, I like to get real and think about stuff like that. And mysterious things like space and what people like to consider the impossible, you know? But going back to what I said about coming along, it's been a long, it things, I wouldn't say maybe come a long way. So many things have changed over the years. I miss those days, to be honest, when I used to be able to just do whatever house chores I had to do, take care of anything important, and then just sit down, have fun with friends, have talk with friends, and record videos for you guys. There was just no worries back then, and I get it. It's a part of growing up to change, and I'm glad things have changed in a sense, but I can't lie, I miss certain aspects of those days, and I do appreciate some of the aspects of today that, have happened in the course of getting older, but I would give a decent amount to go back and enjoy those years again, even if it was a temporary thing and it would just go away. It would just be fun to relive those years, you know? And yeah, I know I sound like I'm fucking 50 here, but I'm only 29 and I'll be 30 years old soon enough, only in like 2 months. Yeah, June 5th, baby. So I'll be turning 30. Yay, I've made it 30 years. But ever since then, I've got a job and I'm getting to the point where eventually one day I will get to move into my own place, and that's something I do want to do. It wouldn't be a fancy house, it'd probably just be an apartment because I don't need all that living space. I just need a little place for myself. It would be cheap, and I have my own transportation, and I'm already willing to learn how to drive and all that if I ever need to. Like, I keep these things in mind. I think about this stuff, and I know someone's gonna say, "Well, you should learn to, you should get your license anyways. It'd be beneficial." And sure, I'll probably do that some point here in the near future, but I'm fine right now. The bike has my needs covered, and I'm ready to adapt when necessary. And I don't want any comments about that. Alrighty. You know, some other things I kind of want to share with you guys. I know I said it earlier, it seems like I'm just this childish guy who loves to fling jokes, have fun, and be nice to friends when I can and possible. I know I haven't been that great lately in terms of gifting and stuff, but yeah, bills have really put that into perspective. Sure, I still try to do it, but I'm always too scared to spend because I have this like pile of money. I gotta save this just in case something happens, you know? Life is very surprising like that, and you never know what could happen. I've had moments like that where I'm glad I saved the money because I've gone through multiple bikes simply because they can't handle my weight, and I didn't really realize that till now. Like, my first bike was, I forgot what happened. I got hit by a car on that first bike. I never told you guys these stories, I don't think, but on my first bike, I got hit by a car, and everything seemed fine. I was fine, the bike seemed okay, and I just let the woman be instead of, like, getting her information, because, you know, I didn't feel that was right to do. She could replace your bike if, you know, something happens to. I don't give a shit. Life is tough enough, and I didn't need to take a poor woman's money because she accidentally hit me with her fucking car, you know? It doesn't seem right, does it? Sure, I get it. You need some kind of coverage, but don't ruin someone else's life at at your expense, you know? Or my second bike, yeah, the first bike got ruined because of that car hitting it because even though it seemed fine, the rim was actually bent on one of the tires, and that eventually fucked it up completely. So that bike got trashed. And then there was my second bike, which I think was a cruiser. It actually was fine and just eventually died because I guess I was too heavy for the bike and a rip started to form. That might have been because I overfilled it or my folks overfilled it. Something overfilled it. Or maybe it was my weight. But a rip started to appear and it got bigger and bigger. And one day I was going out to get some fast food for dinner or whatever because we were fending for ourselves that night. So I said, fuck it, I'll just head out and grab some food. And I think I had Wendy's or Culver's. It was one of the two. Those are usually my main places to hit. But after that, on the way home, I was biking it and the tire was bulging out because figured this out because eventually it started hitting the rim of the bike. Like, kind of like it's like a shield that goes over your bike tire, just kind of away from it. I don't like them. They're really annoying, get in the way, and don't really seem to provide any benefit. But once it hit that, I stopped. I was like, okay, I'll just walk it home as I see this giant fucking bulge coming out of the tire. And just as I reach this four-way where there's a bench, thank God there was a bench, boom! The tire exploded. I was like, oh shit, it wasn't that loud, but it certainly caught me off guard. And you see this blue fucking smoke coming out of the tire. So I had to sit down and call for a ride, but luck be have it, I was able to get a ride because there was a car at home that worked at that time. And then there's my third bike. I'm trying to remember what my third bike was. It was a purple one, actually, the one I'm using right now, because my fourth bike went. My third bike's fine right now. I'm using it, though the seat was fucking as hard as a box of rocks, so I ended up switching it with my fourth bike's seat. Now you're probably wondering, what happened to your fourth bike? Another cruiser. These cruisers are fucking phenomenal. I will say that now. You want a comfortable bike that has good speed? Get yourself a cruiser. Just make sure its weight class is compatible with you because I'm like 200 pounds, dude, and I don't think that bike could support it. Or in this case, though, I think this bike was overfilled because it ran great. Everything was fine. It had a little basket and everything. It cost just a little over $100, and it was a great fucking bike. But one day after the tube in it went dead because I guess I ran over something, I don't know. The tube in it was destroyed, or maybe it just ran flat after a while. I don't know. They replaced it. My father Michael replaced it while I was at work at like the last half hour of my shift. And when I got on, I'm like, okay, awesome, the bike is fixed. But then as I'm riding, I hear this dun, 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 dun. I'm like, okay, what the hell's that? So I stop, get off, look and see there's a rip in the tire. I'm like, okay, it's not bulging out. I've had a rip before. I should be fine to get home. So as I'm pedaling home, I get near the crosswalk that leads to the hospital and kaboom, I hear this gunshot like sound and I fucking jump. The tire starts skidding, it'll start spinning. I almost lose control, but I managed to hold on. And there, lo and behold, there's a giant hole in the tire, and it's completely fucked now. Bikes don't like me. Actually, I don't think they like me because I'm so fucking heavy for them. There's some good times. I know they sound like bad things, but they're fun stories to tell you guys, and I just kind of felt like sitting down to tell you guys these things, you know? Kind of get to know me a bit, and there's actually a lot about me you guys don't know. Some of you do because I've told you personally on Steam, and I believe in the impossible. Like, I'll say, you look at um, Spyro or the ponies, I think they're real somewhere out there. And I know people are going to say, well, they're just fiction. They're not real. Is that really fair to say, though? Sure, they're created, but they were technically created by someone, but who's to say they're not just out there somewhere, you know? Maybe in a different world or a parallel dimension or a different universe or something, you know? I'm very optimistic like that. I like to believe there's more out there than we think, and any kind of dream can be possible if you're willing to put in the effort. Sure, it has been kind of hell, but I don't know. I've had a good time in the end, I guess. I'm not say I wouldn't take it back, to be honest. I wouldn't take back any of the decisions I have made except one, and that was meeting Psychic Pie. Though to be honest, maybe if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be the way I was, but I don't know. Sometimes I wish I could unmeet the guy. He's a piece of shit, and I don't think I've told a lot of you about him, to be honest. So let me give you a little in-depth story on that. Back in 2012, that's when I first became a brony. 2012 was slowly coming to an end, and I had ended up discovering My Little Pony by accident. And of all things, it was in a YouTube poop called The Irregular Show. They ended up showing Benson with Twilight Sparkle, and I don't know, something about her kind of clicked with me. I was like, oh wow, she looks really cute. She's kind of cute. So I start looking up this shit, and it's like, oh wow, I actually really like this. I start watching episodes not too long after that, and after that I was hooked. It changed me forever. I went from this lone wolf who gives a shit about people to, maybe it's important to care about others. And I don't care if you think it's sad. Learning a lesson, regardless of where it's from, isn't really sad. It's kind of like fate. It's there to help you steer. Maybe it was God or some higher power that was like saw that I was going off the wrong path, going down the wrong path, and didn't want to see me end up in a bad spot. But I'm kind of glad that happened. But okay, moving the story along. As the year went on, 2012 had just come to a close, and during 2012's end, this is already after I become a brony, I meet Psychic Pie on the server Pony Pony Pony. You guys might remember old videos I used to do of that, and VSP. But I met him on Pony 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 one day. His profile picture, of all things, just kind of intrigued me. It was his name and his profile picture. Something about it just kind of called to me, and That's when I ended up adding him and making the biggest mistake of my fucking life. Now, you guys know him from the fact that he got me my second ever PC, and it was the Cyber Power one. That was a complete and piece of cyber shit. Or maybe I'm just unlucky at that point, but it lasted maybe a year's worth of time and it fucking died. But the reason I regret meeting him is even though he started out really nice, he ended up becoming this control freak, this I'm always right guy, and that any opinion against his was instantly seen as you being a dick. He never apologized for anything, and he did so much to damage my psyche over those years, but over time I feel like I've slowly recovered from that. But be careful of who you add. People keep acting like internet friends aren't real and they're not so bad. They can't hurt you that much. Trust me, they can be as deadly as any other IRL friend. They're just as real as the physical ones, boys. So be careful of who you're adding. Be open, but be cautious, is what I'm saying. Don't just look at someone and assume he's Captain Cock and he's gonna ruin your day in Dick Castle with his Dick Castle. But yeah, you need to be careful of who you see out there, because I wish I could unmeet him because there were people I really cared about that he ruined friendships with, like Fun Buns and Flutterbat when I bought her that fucking $100 ring. You guys remember that, don't you? Or do you not? Bought him a ring and I let the little fucker twist my mind and ruin it. He ruined so much. But he's out of my life now, and I don't ever plan on adding him back in any of the sort. He's a piece of shit. That does remind me of another friend I met. He was an Aussie guy, of all things. Why is all... I'm not saying Aussies are bad. Australians aren't bad people. Please, if there's any Australians that watch this, I think you guys are cool. The continent you live on is so dangerous that Doom Eternal says hell won't invade you, so looking good. Jokes aside, though, I think you're cool people, but all the Aussies I've met are assholes. Brony Down Under just got gifts out of his ass, gifted just a few of his friends, like just got gifts out his ass, and just treated me like shit by the end. Well, he wasn't so bad. He was cool at first, but then near the end, he just acted like a dick. Though I have to admit now, he made some good points, though he could have come off a bit nicer about it. But the second Australian guy I met, he went by the alias of Nexus. I like to say name, but he went by the name of Nexus. He seemed extremely nice, extremely sweet. And it's the nicer you are, sadly, the easier it is for me to open up to you, but I'm still pretty cautious. But after a while, he did earn my trust, which I regret letting him handle because I ended up sharing information with him and he used that against me. And he just started acting so fucking creepy, too. Like, we were, like, one time he asked me for me to try food one day. I was like, no, I don't want to. It doesn't look appealing. If something doesn't look good, if it doesn't sound good, if it doesn't seem interesting to me, I'm not going to probably like it. Sure, if you present it to me and say, hey, fine, just give it a bite. And if you don't like it, okay, I'll try it, bite it, don't like it, fuck off. I don't like it. But he took this personally for some reason, and he just lost his mind and just went on this tirade on me or whatever. He just fucking started exploding, and then after a bit he added me back, and I was like, okay, maybe he's learned his lesson. And no, he didn't. We went from talking about music to him started acting creepy. If you guys ever seen that Game Theory video about Petscop, if you saw the first one, you'll know what I'm talking about. He didn't I'm not saying he's a murderer, but he started acting that kind of creep, where he just started saying things like run away, and stuff like that. He sounded like one of those ladies out of that video, just not with the same words, and hopefully not the same murderous intent, but yeah, it's just been so long. I've come across so many things that I've loved and enjoyed and hated. I can't really say hate. I don't really hate anybody except two people, which would be Psychic Pie, obviously, and my manager, Irma. Fuck Irma, man. She's garbage, and she specifically targets me at work. Like, I could just be minding my own business, doing my job, and then she'll pull me away from the donation door. And of all the people she puts there, she'll put Charles. And Charles is a shit worker. And not because he actually is. No, he does it on purpose. I've seen him work when the higher ups are there. He works good. But as soon as he can get away with it, every opportunity he can get away with it, he works slow, he does a poor job. I'm surprised he hasn't been fired in the over 5 years he's been working there now. He's been working there 2, 3 years longer than I have at this point. And I'm on my third year now working at Goodwill. Do I regret joining that job even though Irma sucks? No, I don't. I love some of the I really love talking to some of the people there. Brandon's a good guy. Robert's fucking lazy, but he's a cool dude. And Leo never shuts the fuck up, but he's a cool dude too. I think they're good people, just some of them could, use a little work. And same here with me, I'm not trying to be on a high horse. I could still definitely use some work myself. But yeah, they're pretty cool people, and I don't regret joining the job because of that. But yeah, be careful of who you meet, because people like that will come into your life, and that's no good. Anyways, yeah, that was a longer pause than necessary, but you guys know that now, that I believe in the impossible. I like to think people like Spyro and all them are actually real people somewhere out there in the universe or in a different dimension or something. I don't know, it's just something that came innate to my heart. No one told me to believe it. No one said believe it. Hell, back then I just believed everything was video game, TV, movie, and this is our world. This is reality. But no, just over the years, I just started, for some reason, just started believing in that. And I know some people think I'm fucking batshit crazy and have tried to quote unquote help me, which is not really helping. To help someone, you work with them. You don't fight them on what they believe, especially when it's rooted so deeply in someone like me. But yeah, that's just something about me you guys don't really know. At least some of you don't know. I know some of you do, obviously. I'm pretty sure most of the people watching this video know exactly that about me. But yeah, another thing you don't know is I know I may act a little childish, but I'm super fucking childish. You guys should see how crazy I am when I'm not around a lot of other people. It's because it's really behavior that probably wouldn't be deemed too socially acceptable. Not enough to get me landed in an asylum or anything, but like make you go, stay the fuck away from that guy. Like I do voices and shit like oh, I like to voices, yes, oh, your dad, stuff like that. I like to do insane voices and shit while I'm by myself on a bike. But here I am sharing it with you guys because I wanted you guys to get me to know me a bit better. And yeah, that's a little bit more about me you don't know. And about the switching I do so much, it's not because I just, am something fucked up. It's like, hey, they're just toys to me. No, it's difficult, it's hard to stick with one particular thing when you love all of it so much. All those people like Spyro and all that. Right now it's Max, and yeah, that's right. Of all the next people, Max. Oh, hi, Scout the Fur. You just came online. I hope you see this and enjoy it. But yeah, that's something about you guys you didn't know. I can't really think of anything else at the moment to tell you, but I hope that guys gives you kind of insight into some of my things. I'm sorry for anyone who's gotten to see more of me, like the depressed side. I know I kind of one-off mentioned that in one of the videos, but for a while I suffered from bad depression. I kind of kept it to myself, but over the years I kept talking to friends, and I guess that helped because definitely not like I used to be. I should have mentioned how Irma's kind of a dick. She besides, yeah, I know this is kind of like switching topics so fucking just out of nowhere, like suddenly. It's like, okay, that was a 180. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's just a personal tick of mine that just happens. Like, I'll be on one topic and then I'll just jump to another, then jump back to the previous topic, and then jump back to another topic, and then to another previous topic. But it's what I do. But she'll do things like purposely make. I swear she's an incompetent manager. She's a hard worker. She's just an incompetent manager. I don't think she just knows how to manage people properly. She'll make the dumbest decisions acting like she's doing the right thing, I guess, but she's not. Like, she talks about work smarter, not harder, and faster. She's like a fucking drill sergeant, but without the yelling, I guess. Saying you have to say things like, ma'am, yes, ma'am. This isn't fucking boot camp, lady. I wanted that shit, I'd go join the army, but that's not my interests. At least I hope it never has to come to that, because I could do it, sure, but I wouldn't like it in the slightest. I would fucking hate it. It wouldn't be fun to get yelled at. That's not how I function best. And Irma's kind of like that. She has this do mentality instead of ask mentality. She'll tell instead of ask. Or someone like Heather will go, hey, would you please do this? It's like, ah, sure, fuck yeah, I'll do it. And Irma's like, do it. I need you to do this. Like, I need you to do this now. And if you fucking don't hear what she says, even if it's an accent, like you just happen to miss what she said, she starts getting this attitude like you're fucking ignoring her or something. And even if you say it, she just is annoyed by it because she's a dickhead. Yeah, every job has that one person at least that you're gonna fucking despise. And Irma's that person. I also hate how she eats in front of everybody. Like, we're not allowed to do that. We have to either eat in the break room, in our car, or outside or something. Just not on the work floor. But she'll come out with a fucking banana or some fucking health bar, and she'll start putting her hands on her hips and fucking with her food, and while she's staring at everybody like she's Mrs. Queen King shit of hard ass castle. Just watching over everybody like she's overly obsessed with her job. It's annoying. I hope one day she gets what's coming to her. Same with Charles. Fuck Charles. He's called off for some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, one time he called off because he had a fucking headache. A headache. A fucking headache. He didn't tell the managers that, obviously, but a fucking headache. Remember when back in the day you just took an aspirin or an ibuprofen? You're like, I'll feel better in a half hour, and fucking did your work. No. Nowadays, I guess you can call off because your head hurts. And he always does it on a shift where there's like almost nobody at the store that day. It's like just me and Brandon, or just Brandon and Nancy, or John and Brandon, or something like that. Some very tiny combination where him being gone just inconveniences everyone ever so more. And Irma and them don't give a shit. The guy just could get away with fucking murder, I swear. Yeah, I should also mention I've met some amazing friends too, like Nurse Dashian, AW Gear, and Scribe Scales, Solar Heartstrings, and a lot of others I just don't have the time to mention because there's just so many of them. But if I didn't say your name, just know you know who you are and you're fucking awesome for it. Thanks for coming into my life. And honestly, I do have MLP to thank for that because had it not been for all that for that show, I would have never met you guys. Anyways, thank you for coming into my life. Like, even Kat, or has she's going by now as Professional Meower. It's cute. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry if there's anything I didn't talk about. And as a quick addendum to the whole switching a lot thing, it's because I find them people so amazing. They just click with me. I think they're just great, amazing people, and it's hard to resist them. That's why you see me switch a lot nowadays, and that it was kind of the damage done by Psychic Pie. But anyways, yeah, that kind of explains that a little bit. But thank you guys for watching so much, and I know this is a really long video, but I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see something like this else in the if you want to see something else like this in the future, let me know, because I wouldn't mind making another thing where I just talk about stuff and share my thoughts. This is why I love it when you guys comment. It gets my thoughts going and makes me talk about shit. And I know that can be relaxing to some people, especially with certain YouTuber voices. Sorry, I'm not Jacksepticeye, any other super famous YouTuber that stomps out the others, but I do what I can for my friends, and that's all that really matters to me. As long as you guys are having a good time, I'm having a good time. Just wish you would express it a little more. That's why I whine so much, but I don't do that anymore, because you guys have personally told me you enjoy this shit, but it is fun to interact with you. But thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is for the 5th time. I'll see you guys for the next Let's Play I have planned. You guys have a wonderful week and weekend, and have a great Easter. I love y'all.